Hey, welcome back to another episode of Tune Quest. Today we're looking at a new Robert Glasper tune called Look of Love, which has such a dope neo-soul hip-hop chord progression that we're going to break down in this video. Let me play it first and then I'll show you what's going on. It goes like this. Okay, so it goes something like that. Let's get into it. So firstly, let's cover the left hand, right? Because the left hand is actually really uncomplicated. All I'm doing here is I'm playing 1-5 chords, which means I'm playing the root of the chord and the 5 of the chord. This just establishes a really solid foundation upon which we can use the right hand to color in some of the beautiful, pretty notes, right? The harmonic notes. And by that, I mean playing the 3rd, the 7th, the 9th, the extensions, all of that good stuff, okay? So in the left hand, we're playing a 1-5 chord first on B, and then we're playing a 1-5 on D sharp here, and then we're playing a 1-5 on A sharp for 2 bars, like this. And there's a bit of a pulse to this progression that goes like this. Now, if you wanted to, you can definitely add the 3rd. So if we were to add the 3rd to these, we would be playing B major, D sharp minor, A sharp minor, like this. Alternatively, you can play the roots as octaves, which is always a solid choice. Okay, so that's the left hand all sorted. We don't have to worry about the left hand anymore. Let's take a look at the right hand and see what's going on here. Our first chord is this. This is what I would call a B major sharp 11, I guess. The way to think about it is you can just create a B major triad, okay? So we'll start there, and then we'll add this note here, this C sharp, which is the 2. So this is what we would call a B major add 2. And now we would take that 5 and lower it down a half step. And this is the chord we get. This is what I deciphered when I learned this chord progression by ear. I'm pretty sure it's right. It sounds good to me. Don't worry too much about the naming of chords. Focus more on how it sounds and how it feels. Right? What does the sound evoke in your imagination and in your ear, right? I think it's quite interesting. So that's the first chord. And then the second chord is this. This is a really dope chord. This is used all over the place in like soul and neo-soul music. Let me play the D sharp minor triad here in the left hand. Okay, now all we're doing here in the right hand is we're playing a C sharp major triad, and we're superimposing that over our D sharp minor triad, and this is the chord you get, this really dope, just open sounding, beautiful chord. I love it. It's one of my favorite chords, and it's actually really easy when you know how to construct it. All it is a minor triad in the left hand, and then we are going to the 7th degree, so in this case is a C sharp, and from that 7th, we're creating a major triad. And that's what you get. Absolutely incredible, right? The next chord is this here, A sharp minor 9, okay? So let's take a look at the right hand. This is the shape that we have. Now what is this? This is actually an inversion of a C sharp major 7 chord, okay? So this is the chord that we're actually using here. Now, the reason why this chord is being used is because if we take our root chord here, this A sharp minor triad, what we're doing here is we're going to the 3rd of that chord, which is C sharp up here, and from that chord, from that note, we're constructing a major 7 chord. And all we're doing is we're taking this chord these notes and we're inverting it, and we're playing what I like to call the middle inversion. I call it that because you have this crunchy minor 2 interval right in the middle. So I would say it's a more stable inversion of the chord than this, for example, and this. Right? The most stable, I would say, is the root position, and then the middle inversion, which is just really commonly used in jazz music and soul and neo-soul, right? By the way, this is a practice in inversions. If you're not good with your 7th chords or anything like that, here's a practice. Take your any major 7 chord that you want to learn and develop into your hands and fingers, and go up the inversions. So that would be root position, then this one, middle inversion, there, back at the top, and then make your way down, right? If you're serious about chords and you really want to develop this language, this is a fundamental exercise to really, establish these things into your hands and into your fingers and ears as well. Remember what I was saying earlier about really, creating this ear connection to how it sounds and feels. So that's the 3rd chord in this progression. So if I was to play the chords as I've just shown you, it goes like this. Now let's take it to the next level by adding the melodic content, okay? So the melody goes like this. Okay, so that's kind of the first idea. We have this walk up where the melody starts actually there on the F. When it comes to playing chord inversions in the right hand, it's always good to play inversions where the melody that you're trying to play is actually the top note, and that's what's going on here. That top note is the melody. And then we have this walk up, actually just walking up this chord that we've already got. Da, 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 da. There is this chord in between there that I'm going to explain soon, but we'll get to that, okay? So we have da, 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 and then we go to this chord, and then da, da. So the melody actually goes like that. Now we're just filling in the rest of the notes here. And then here, da, 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 we go down to this chord, okay? What is this? This is a similar chord to what I showed you earlier. Remember, our foundation here is this A sharp minor triad, and what is this? A G sharp major triad, superimposed over that minor triad, built from the 7th degree. So that's what's going on here, and then it goes to this. This is like a sus chord. Okay, if we take our G sharp major triad here, turn it into a 4-note chord by adding that octave on the top. What we're doing here is we're taking that 3rd and putting it up here. So this is actually a sus 4 chord, superimposed over that A sharp root. The melody goes da, 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 right? Da, 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 do, da, do, da, do, da, 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 da. Notice what I'm doing? I'm singing along to it. So if you really want to connect to the melody, you want to ingrain that melody, sing it or hum it. Okay, that's honestly such a hack right there. Okay, what is this funky stand chord in the middle? Okay, this is where we're going to have to get into a little bit of theory. I'll just show you what the chord is first. So this is what we're playing here. Again, this is just what I deciphered with my ear, but I'm pretty sure it's correct. So essentially we've got a D and a G sharp, and in the right hand, a D augmented, right? D, F sharp, A sharp. Now, what do you notice about this? The voices in this chord, which is quite crunchy, right? It's like, it's unsettled, and it wants to resolve to this chord, right? So what's being used here is a concept called voice leading. But in fact, we can go one step further. The device that is being used here is what's called a secondary dominant, which essentially means that we have a target chord, a destination chord. This chord here, this D sharp minor chord. This is where we're going, right? Now, functional harmony explains this dominant to tonic relationship, this 5-to-1 relationship. Let's just go to C major to explain this if you're not familiar with functional harmony. In the key of C major, the C major chord is our tonic, our home bass, and G is our dominant. If we play it as a dominant 7 by including that note there, the dominant 7th, right? Oh, not that. This, da, da, it wants to resolve to the tonic, right? Da, da. That's called a 5-to-1 relationship. Another term for it is called the perfect cadence. Da, da. This is functional harmony. This is always going to work. And so the subdominant is this device used in chord progressions where we can create a little bit of harmonic interest by finding the 5 of the chord that we're going to and quickly playing that before we go to it to create this kind of like tension and release in the middle of the chord progression. And that's exactly what's going on here. So this chord here is the 5 of this 1. Does that make sense? You know what I'm saying? So let's go here to our D sharp minor chord, and if we go to the 5, if we find the 5 of this 1, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it's an A sharp. So here, if we play an A sharp dominant, just in standard root position, right, down, down, it wants to resolve to this D sharp minor, down, down, right, 5, 1, by using that concept that I explained, the voice leading. The voice is in this dominant, want to resolve to this tonic, this minor tonic in this case, okay? So that's the theory of what's going on here. But of course, we're talking about Robert Glasper here, right? We're talking about neo-soul and jazzy chords. So we're talking about inversions, right? He's not just playing root position, A sharp dominant to root position D sharp minor. No, it's not like that. What he's doing here, okay, let me show you. So here's our A sharp dominant chord from which we're playing. He's playing the 3rd and the 7th in the left hand. This is actually establishing the harmony. These are the notes that make it a dominant, right? These are the notes that color it in because it's got the major 3rd and the dominant 7th. So already we know it's a dominant chord just because of this interval that we have in the left hand. In the right hand, what we've got here is actually a sharp 5, right? So if we take the 5th of this chord, it's sharp, and it's just in this inversion, right? So if we put those two together, we have this perfectly crunchy chord that wants to resolve using voice leading to this chord here. Amazing, okay? So this is what we have. Okay, so that's the end of the tutorial. I really hope that you found this one informative. This is me going into a more of an intermediate to advanced kind of material on this channel. But again, this is the stuff that I love, the stuff that I'm studying and learning more about. I love harmony. I love dope chord progressions, neo-soul, jazz. These chords is like, this is just... Robert Glasper is my all-time favorite. I've learned so much from him and his music, and just I love it. Okay, so hopefully you got some value from this. You learned something. Maybe the secondary dominant is a new thing you've never heard of, and it's like, whoa, that's kind of crazy. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Definitely let me know what you learned below, what you want to see next. Join Keyboard Wizardry if you want one-on-one coaching. I do offer that as well. Check out the top link and we can chat. And that's it for this video. Peace.